Hello, everyone. It's Deputy Chief Chandler with your police department. I'm here with Commissioner and also Vice Mayor Bill Trivett of District 2 and also our Chief of Police. And we're going to have a conversation with a commissioner today, but really just to want to have a real conversation that you can hear as our community members about all the success that we're seeing with our police department, but what is ahead in the future of Mount Juliet PD. And, you know, we're grateful for the recent studies that have come out that have really shown the good work of our police officers. I'm going to let Chief talk a little bit about that Safe City stuff.
Yeah, we're good about putting out all our information. You've seen it, Bill, and we try to share a lot. But the recent study came out from an independent third party that deemed us as the fourth safest city in the entire state. A lot of times we compare ourselves to the people in the mid-state, but this was a complete state study that showed us as fourth safest in the entire state, using the matrix of crimes against persons and crimes against property, and really did not take into any consideration size of the city or population, because quite honestly, the three that rank above us combined population is still less than our population. So I take some solace in that too, that not only are we the fourth safest city in the entire state, but we're by this study, we're the safest city of any city in the state of our population. So
that's awesome. So what do you think right now, you know, what is bringing us to this point from where we were to where we are today? What are some of the things that we're doing proactively?
Yeah, I would think most of it, Bill, is related to the support that we've been receiving, right? It takes support, it takes investment to get to where we're at, but it also takes hardworking police officers. So like with you as an elected official, y'all as a board, the commission in itself has really been supporting us over the years through technology, through personnel, through a new headquarters that is much needed, that's being built, to future programs that we have coming on board. And that energizes our officers and it encourages them to go out and work hard every day. And they've been proactive. Our proactivity numbers don't meet any other police department around us. And when I say numbers, 58% of the crime that we generate is proactive related crime, meaning that's the crime the officers find through their work. And just looking at the first 5 months of 2025, those crime trends, and Chief and I, we were talking about this the other day, 91% of the wanted people that we discovered in our community don't live here. And those are the people who are out committing crime, right? So if we can apprehend those who are committing crime, making sure that crime is not successful in our community, they don't come here as often. And when they don't come here as often, crimes aren't being committed. And when you look at true numbers, we have less victims in our community. And that's our number one goal, is to keep this city safe and to ensure that we don't have victims in our community.
Yeah. You know, to touch on that just a little bit, so what we're catching is a lot of crimes that are occurring in other jurisdictions. We're getting the stolen cars out of other jurisdictions. We're getting the warrants out of other jurisdictions. So, you know, the statistics is that the crime necessarily isn't happening here. We're catching warrants from other, but, you know, because we caught them with the stolen car in our jurisdiction, then we get to kind of hit with that stolen car statistic. But at the end of the day, it's not our citizens that are being victimized. Okay. So that's the goal, is to apprehend them and be proactive on the front end. So it's not our citizens that are being the victims of these crimes that we're apprehending these other people from. We're just catching the people before they do the crime here.
So when you mentioned that, you know, are the officers just scanning their tags, or is it the benefit of the LPRs? Is that what you're referring to when you say that we are seeing or that we're catching them? Is that because of the LPRs, or what is
I think
the number one
it's
percentage?
it's all comprehensive. There is not one size fit all approach to lowering crime. You have to have proactive officers, but you also need to supplement that with the license plate readers.
Yeah.
And when I looked at all these wanted people that were arrested in the first 5 months of 2025, which was 337 wanted people, only 12 of those were located with the help of license plate readers.
Really?
You
Okay.
know, so a lot of it is the work of what our officers are doing, being out there, and which I think is amazing, because we know the numbers that other cities have with the amount of officers they have, and you may want to talk a little bit about that, on how we're just so lean as an agency in staffing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at other cities that surround us, we are by far let's say we do more with less.
More efficient?
We're more efficient.
Yeah.
But I think that starts from a top down. We talk about the technology that we have. We talk about the hardworking people that we have. We talk about the support from the BOC. But a lot of that, there's a lot of agencies. It's just not assume that we're the only agency that have the technology or hardworking people. But it also has a lot to do with the culture that is established in the city, the Mount Juliet way that we call it. And that starts at the top of the top. I mean, it starts with our city manager, Kenny Martin. It starts with our, my predecessor, James Hambrick, and where he got us to. It's the culture that we instill, the get after it mentality that our people have internally, that helps us do less with, more with less. Some neighboring jurisdictions have, similar populations. And in some of them, we have 40 less sworn personnel than they do, but our numbers are still, and they don't butt up to, let's just call it our neighbor to the west. And we're still getting after it and producing because the culture that is instilled in this department from our city manager, from our previous police chief to where we are today.
Yeah, and I'm just so shocked that we are one of the safest city, if not the safest city in Tennessee, because we have a major interstate that runs through town, right? We have a plethora of shopping areas where opens up opportunity for people to come commit theft, which is our number one crime, is shoplifting in town.
Sure.
And as close proximity as we are to other areas with much higher crime rate. And when I say much higher crime rates that are 4 times as much than what ours is. And then looking at how efficient we are with the number of officers that we have, we accomplish a lot with less. But it's efficient and it works, and it's continuing to work. I mean, just looking at the first 5 months of 2025 compared to 2024, robbery's down 100%, burglary is down 56%, vehicle burglary is down 42%, vehicle theft is down 27%, and shoplifting is down 27%. What's also down are our crashes, which we haven't seen in a while. That's down 6%, but the proactivity's up. So out of that, 78% more stolen cars have been recovered with the help of our license plate readers.
Yeah.
27% more unlawful weapons recovered, and 21% more wanted people. When I say wanted people, that's 337 people in our community who are wanted for crimes likely elsewhere. We know for sure, majority, typically wanted out of Nashville, that our police officers are finding today. And just this morning, just before we sat down, our officers just arrested a man from Nashville wanted for serious violations related to weapons offenses that were involved in a violent felony where someone was injured, just arrested at one of our stores in town. So we call this the cross-county, cross-border, cross-city limit crime, and that's why we have to be as strong as we are to ensure we don't let that penetrate or take root in our community. And that's where the support that we see from our elected body, people like you, right? And you represent a lot of Mount Juliet. What's that? Hickory Hills, Willoughby, Mount Vernon Estates, and we appreciate you coming and having this conversation with us because that helps us get our word out to your constituents about everything that we're doing. And we are extremely active on social media to get the word out, and we do that to educate our community about what we deal with every day, and our city has grown substantially.
Yeah.
Our staff has had to grow with that. Our building, our new headquarters has had to be built because of the growth that we have, and our investment in technology has to be there if we're going to continue to serve our community as well as we serve them today.
The main thing is that all those numbers that the deputy chief just wrote off means that our citizens are victimized.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the goal at the end of the day. Our goal isn't just to catch the criminal. Our goal is to prevent the crime. And if we catch the criminal before it happens and prevent the crime, then that's great. But ultimately what we would prefer to see is for criminals to stop coming to Mount Juliet, right? We would prefer them to stay out of our city so that we can prevent a crime from ever occurring.
Yeah, and I don't even know why they come here. And you say that all the time. Why even take the chance and come to our community and commit a crime as strong as our officers are in finding crime and finding wanted people?
Yeah.
They just need to go somewhere else.
Well, it's kind of funny you guys talk about, the lean staff that we have because, when I talk to my neighbors, because that's what they are. Some people use them as our constituents, but
Yeah.
they're my neighbors,
Right,
they're my friends,
absolutely.
or family. And and I asked them, I say, hey, how many officers do you think we have right now that's on duty today? And the perception is 40 to 50.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. I'm like,
Sure.
really? And they're like, well, what's the real number? I said, you'll never know.
Right.
Because honestly, I mean, it changes every day. So I don't want to give them a false number.
Sure.
But that's the foundation. That's what our citizens and friends and family are saying. Man, there's 40 to 50
And
officers
that's by
on duty.
design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's great. And so that's the proactiveness, and that's great. And then obviously with that crime, there is some concern, obviously with the existing building that we have, I guess it'd be the evidence room was too small. That was one of the reasons why
Oh, yeah.
the commission said, hey, we need to start looking
Right.
at this, but we also need to look at our dispatchers. So we need to make sure that we have some redundancy there, because now we have ambulance service. We've got a larger fire presence, which that's going to be coming next.
Right.
With the same sit down with those folks. So I'm excited about all this, but what does the next chapter look like for our city moving into the to the budget? Because I know that's the biggest talk right now is taxes increases, which
Yeah.
I'm excited to make sure that that I get all these calls with our citizens to
Sure.
explain them that it's the city tax, not the county tax.
Right.
It's that we're looking to modify. So, but I also want to talk about the next set of technology. So with the LPRs, and then there's some talk about the drones. So can we talk a little bit about that, how that's going to work with being proactive for our staff as well as our citizens?
Sure, I guess I'll kick it off a little bit. You talk about being lean and efficient in taxes, and because we're so successful, we're not having to hire 40 more officers, 50 more officers, right? And we all know the largest cost impact to a budget is that reoccurring personnel cost, right?
Yeah.
And we've been efficient, we've been lean, we've been able to keep taxes low in this community, and even, we don't know the rate yet that y'all are working on, but whatever it gets to, it'll still be one of the lowest tax rates in our county and around.
Oh, yeah.
Right, especially for a city our size with all the services that we offer. And I think that's what some community members don't realize that we have as a burden on our police department is our staff, our emergency dispatchers, they're responsible for police, fire, and medical dispatch, and that includes providing EMS instruction. So if you call 911, if your neighbor calls 911 and whoever is hurt needs medical care, CPR instructions, our dispatcher is telling that person over the phone what to do,
Yeah.
so they can save that person's life, right? And we're sitting in our current headquarters today, which is a old church building, right? It's a quick pre-manufactured building.
Beautiful building, by the way, still.
Still a
right?
beautiful building. We're out of space, right?
We
I
are.
can't add dispatchers. We can't add barely anything more in evidence. It's all packed in there. We lack office space. We lack training space. But what we really lack is an adequate, strong building to keep our emergency operations center protected during a storm.
Yeah.
And this effort for the new building out front came about in 2020 when that devastating tornado ripped through our town and destroyed 2 heavily constructed schools that you would never expect them to be totally destroyed. And it scared us because if that would have came a couple miles north and over this building, we couldn't respond because we would probably have dispatchers in there who were trapped or possibly critically injured from that storm. And when you're responsible for emergency services, ensuring police respond, ensuring fire respond, ensuring our dispatchers give medical dispatch, you have to ensure they're in a good, adequate building. And our new police headquarters is that next future for our city because of all the features that it has in it. And what we wanted to integrate in that was a strong building, enough space to take us out 30 plus years. So it's a modular design, very lean design. When we went through the contracting with construction, it's the lowest cost per square foot for similar police buildings around our area, right? It's the lowest square footage per population ratio for police buildings around our area. So it's as lean as you can get.
That's good.
To provide an adequate building for our community. But it also has tornado shelters in it, one for staff, one for community members, which is a huge step because we've been getting that request for years where people just want a safe place to go. Not everyone has basements or homes that are constructed well, right? They may be in housing that is more transient or more limited in structure. And they want a safe place to go, and we'll be able to provide that.
That's great.
But the good thing is we plan for the future 30 plus years out.
Yeah, and then you talked a little bit about the drone program. because of the reputation we have in the state, because of the work that we do, because of our location to Nashville, Flock has reached out to us to be the first in the state to a program they call Safer Cities. So we already use a lot of Flock LPR systems, just like the rest of the county does. But we're going to increase that number. We're going to get additional cameras throughout the town, pan-tilt zoom cameras that hopefully we can follow if an event does occur. If we get an alert on an LPR versus us having to run emergency traffic, we'll be able to follow that car through the city through these cameras.
Okay.
And then when they get to a spot that is safe for us to apprehend them, we can box them in and stop them without putting a danger to our citizens. So, and then in addition to that, part of that contract is a drone that you was talking about, right? So the drone is not just for PD. The drone will also help a lot with fire emergencies as well. If as the dispatcher is typing it in, the drone will automatically launch. It will fly itself based on GPS coordinates to a certain location, and then we will need somebody to move the camera back and forth. So if it's a structure fire, as the dispatcher is putting it in and it's launching, it will be anywhere in Mount Juliet in less than 2 minutes. So as before the officers arrive, you can see, are there flames coming from the roof? Or is there smoke in the area? Is it a burn pile, a controlled burn in the back, which can limit the response to that? So then you're not sending unnecessary resources to that controlled burn. But it also helps if we have a crash. If we get calls that crashers are in the roadway, it's going to launch, it's going to be over. Dispatchers are going to see very quickly that they're no longer in the roadway. They move to a parking lot, which now slows down our response to that, protects our citizens. So the good thing, this part about a drone never has to take a vacation. Yeah. A drone is never sick. Yeah. And it does so much more that, we're going to be able to have access to that. It's a force multiplier for us so that we can continue to run lean and leverage technology to help us be better at what we do.
Yeah, but also, keep the costs down, right? We talked about personnel being the largest cost in a budget, right? And then as we grow as a city, we're hopeful this drone program can help supplement having to hire a bunch of police officers to keep the city safe, because the majority of what we deal with can quickly be looked at by a drone to determine how many officers need to go to that. One example I gave y'all about 2 weeks ago when we talked before was we got a call in Chandler Point neighborhood. It was of shots fired and people screaming. So that makes you think there was a shooting, right? That's what the caller reported to us. So that required a lot of police officers to respond to Chandler Point. But what we're going to have once the drone program is in place, say if we got that same call today, that drone is going to launch and respond the same with our officers, but that drone is going to be there first. And it can immediately start looking about what is going on over that scene. Okay. And it would have saw that it was just fireworks. And it was people having a party. No fight, no shooting, no nothing. So instead of a bunch of police officers rushing to that scene, running emergency traffic, right, which is dangerous on our roadways. Yeah. The majority of them can stop doing that because they know what's happening, and just one can go check out the party, or two check out the party, right? And the other benefit our officers get is real-time video. So the drone up in the air with the video, it's sending that back to the officers in the car. So they can approach scenes safer because, say you call us and that you have a potential burglar or a prowler outside your house. That drone's going to get there within a minute and a half. Begin rotating above your home, sending video back to dispatch, sending video back to the officer in the car, and we can be able to see if there's a suspect around that house, which allows us as officers to approach that situation a lot safer. Yeah. Because it's hard to find a suspect at night when you're an officer on the ground by yourself. Yeah. It's a lot easier when you have something in the air looking down with infrared technology to be able to detect heat signatures.
And that same prowler is going to hear our emergency calls, our emergency sirens coming, and he's not going to hang around for us to get there to say what he's doing. Yeah. He's going to beat feet somewhere, but that drone will follow him because he doesn't hear the drone. The drone will follow him, and then as he moves away from that location, we'll just respond to wherever he's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with the drone, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking, just so we don't lose this, but with the drone being able to respond, because I know it's going to be centralized, in the city. You know,
Right.
I mean, obviously, we don't want to talk about where it's going to be staging,
Sure.
but from the point from where it's going to be staged to get to the outer edges of our city, what is the average time? Do we know?
Yeah, 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Man, it's amazing.
Yeah, and our average response time, if the officer has to turn on their blue lights as siren, is anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes to get to a scene.
So that drone is now taking the dispatch call and it's already engaging, hey, taking the data in and heading to that point. And then, of course, we have redundancy, which that's
Absolutely.
something that we always have with our city.
Right.
And then with the police response, which I can't wait to start talking about this, with the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Because then their response of getting that many first responders into a truck or whatever their vehicles are to get out to the point, of course, they're going to be a little bit slower, I guess, because they
Sure.
got bigger trucks.
Right,
We got
right.
smaller vehicles. So, but 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes tops.
Well, a drone don't have to sit in Providence traffic.
Yeah.
Most locations of the city, it'll be
That's
there
good.
within 30 to 45 seconds.
Oh man, that's
So you asked
beautiful.
about the far end of the city. So we patrol all the way up to the lake, right?
Yeah.
We patrol all the way out to the Davidson County line, and we patrol way down south too. But the majority of the city, the meat of the city, it'll be there within 30 to 45 seconds.
Okay.
Huge. But another benefit as well is not just the enforcement or finding bad guys. There are many good people, but also with special needs in our community, kids that go missing, that wander away, and they can't be found. The drone can go and help search for these individuals. So just like a helicopter, the drone is overhead helping us find someone who goes missing. Scary moment we had 3 weeks ago, and an individual with autism, he's 21, he likes trains, went down to our train depot and likes to watch the trains go by with his mom. Well, the train stopped, let people off, it started to go. The individual got up off the bench, ran to the moving train, jumped on the moving train, and it went down a half a mile down the tracks, and he jumped off. And then we were searching for him. If we had that drone, it would be up immediately. It would be looking for this individual. Thankfully, we found him. He wasn't harmed. He was just laying in the grass next to the tracks after he fell down. But just huge benefits for us. And the investment and that return on investment is so great for so minimal about what we're putting in. Because again, like he mentioned, Flock Safety views our city as a city that's on the rise, as a police department that knows what we're doing, and they want to invest in us. So that's why they've provided us with such a discount to get this program going in Middle Tennessee so they can show other communities how well it works. And we're hoping to showcase this for them and use it to the benefit that it offers.
And the technology is outstanding. So like he was talking about with that drone, we could put information into that drone that we're searching for a male subject with blue jeans and a white t-shirt, and it will specifically look for that description and filter out everybody else. So if you're walking through, it's not even going to pay attention to you, but if someone walks through that parking lot with blue jeans and a white shirt, it will immediately start tracking to see if that's the person we're looking for.
And part of this Flock's safety program that we're going into, this Safe City program, we obviously get the 2 drones and the radar system for its flight. We're getting more LPRs out there, license plate readers, more PTZs at our intersections, a trailer, but all the software that comes with it. And one component of that software, again, helps in our emergency response is live 911 calls. So today, there's a delay in our 911 calls. So if you call 911, we all know there's a central 911 office that answers the phone. They're going to ask police, fire, medical, what's your emergency, where's your emergency? Once they get those details and they determine it's in our city, they're going to transfer it to us. And then our dispatchers are going to dispatch it. So there's that inherent delay. With the Flock software is once that 911 call comes in, it's going to pop up on a map on our officers' screens, and they can click it and listen to the live 911 call.
That's great.
So not only is the dispatcher helping query and find out what's going on, that officer in that general area gets an alert that there's a 911 call nearby, and he can listen to it live.
That's amazing.
And get en route so much faster than that delay of entering a call, dispatching a call, and then the officer gets en route.
And then not even factoring in that the officer's not going to have to take the problem of reading his MDT mobile device in his vehicle, that he's going to hear it and not have to take the time to read. He's going to be able to focus on the road, focus on the traffic around him, focus on his game plan that he's going to have before he gets there without having to read it as he's traveling.
See, this is amazing. So, and this is, I think, the story that, as a commissioner, we want to tell our citizens. We don't want to tell them all the secrets, right? Because we don't want the bad guys to be able to know how fast and so forth.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's important for our citizens to know that two things. One, this commission is investing in technology. We're investing in brick and mortar. We're investing in our staff. And we're doing it very lean. I mean, we have kept our taxes down as low as possible for as long as we could.
Right.
I mean, we all remember that C word, the COVID, right?
Sure.
And that was right around the corner. And I even think some of our vehicles, we were trying to be very fruitful with every opportunity to get the vehicles in place to be able to take care of the officers. And that's why we have a lot of undercover vehicles. We've got trucks, cars, and even, I think we got a minivan out there somewhere.
There's a minivan out there somewhere.
Yeah, so it's great. So we appreciate everything you guys are doing. Well, gentlemen, obviously your time is very valuable, and I want to be respectful of your guys' time. And just thank you for everything you and your team is doing. And the best part about I love with this department is the outreach. So we've got different Friday mornings, coffee with the police officer. We've got different events that we're doing with the city. We got 4th of July right around the corner. Is there anything you want to just close out with the 4th of July? Because I know that's just a couple days away. And is there anything that we want to tell our citizens?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to start off with this thanking you for taking the time, with us today and discussing this with us. Because we run into, as a police department, a lot of misinformation and disinformation. So there are individuals out there who just don't know the facts, right? And so they come up with their own assumption. But we also deal with individuals today who don't like law enforcement, and they continually put out false information. And that's why we want our doors always open. We're transparent. You can stop by any time, learn about what we do here, look at our data, and see what our officers do every day. Whether if you want to get in the car and ride along with our officers, we can make that happen if you truly don't trust what our officers are doing every day. But every officer, body-worn camera video, every case goes through a judicial process. We're thankful to know we're one of the agencies in the county with the highest conviction rate, which is good to know because we know our officers are doing good work out there every day. We always get good praise from our judicial system and our prosecutors about what our officers are doing. Crime remains down. We got word that Walmart is the lowest shrink Walmart in the region, which is good to know because you kind of never know what you're preventing. But if you know their shrink is the lowest, we're preventing something because there's not as many people stealing from our Walmart, which is our #1 crime area in town related to shoplifting. But we appreciate the conversation and having that with us, and so we can get the word out.
My closing remarks would be to the criminals in the surrounding areas. Stop coming to Mount Juliet. We're here. We're going to seek you out, and we're going to ruin your day. Don't come to Mount Juliet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Hey, one last thing, if we could just do a tidbit, because I know that there was a discussion I got from your officer while we were at the 4th of July, overview.
Yeah.
There's going to be this weekend, there's going to be some volunteer groups that are be coming out in the Mount Juliet area to test some smoke detectors. I know that's more towards fire, but again, our officers may get calls on some strange people walking through our doors.
Yeah, I think it was Red Cross.
Red Cross, yes. Yeah. So again, it's always good to welcome our outside third-party support that's coming out to be good neighbors. So I don't know if we can go ahead and highlight that, but I think that's important when we have people like that coming to our communities and walking through the neighborhoods that
They're not trying to solicit anything.
we're not.
They're not trying to sell you anything.
Right.
But-
They're coming to your house trying to replace your batteries in your fires, in your smoke alarms, and just making sure that you have smoke alarms.
Yeah.
And our
If you
police are
don't,
aware
they're
of
doing
it.
it for
We
free.
are aware of it, we know, and they will have uniforms on with proper identification.
Okay.
And so if anyone feels that the person at your door isn't legitimate, please just call us. But the Red Cross will be out this weekend testing smoke alarms, wearing uniforms, and of course having IDs on them.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much. Greatly appreciate your time, and I love the open door policy. And to any of our neighbors and families out there, please reach out to me. My number's online. Every social media, I always post it out there. You can call me any time of the day, and just want to be there for any questions. So appreciate everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bill, we'll put your number and your email at the bottom of this
Thank you.
video so people can see it. But appreciate your time, appreciate your support of us. Again, all of you on our city commission have been so supportive of our efforts, and it's paying off.
Yeah.
We've seen the numbers. To see how low our crime is today for what it was just last year and many years before, the investment in our team, the investment in our technology is huge. And of course, the support from our community. Your support means so much to us, and we are grateful for you, and we hope to have more conversations like this with our commissioners in the future. So take care, be safe, and have a wonderful weekend.